The holiday season is almost here. Are you ready to celebrate? There's still time to create space for overnight guests with all the comforts of home, even the surprise ones. Check out Sleep Products to make the guest room the best room, and dining solutions to help set a table that has space for family, friends, and the unexpected side dishes. Shop now by visiting in-store or online at ikea-usa.com for special offers and new items.
You or Drayla?
Yo, they wanna know.
Hey, hey,
Come on.
hey. I want to be famous.
Welcome to Who Weekly, the podcast where you'll learn everything you need to know about the celebrities you don't. I'm Bobby Finger,
I'm Lindsay Weber.
and this is some advice I have for everyone.
Being an artist is the only thing I've ever wanted to be in my whole life. I never wanted to be anything else. I remember when I first came to California, after I built this small following for myself in New York, I would be taken out to these fancy dinners with executives who wanted to sign me. And I remember I never ever ordered anything more than a whiskey neat or a large sake if we were at a Japanese spot. And I remember that they used to ask me, "Hey, LG, why aren't you eating?" And I said, because I didn't come for the California roll.
Oh, I kind of get that now. Okay, first of all, I kind of get that. I didn't get it last night, but I kind of get that now.
I'm trying to think. Do I get it?
She
I
means
think maybe
like
I get
she
it.
didn't come to fuck around. She
She came to have a business
Yeah,
meeting.
she didn't come to California to get the California role. She came to California to become a pop superstar.
Right.
And then she did.
She's nothing if not confident. She
Right.
did.
Okay.
So
I didn't get that last night, but I got it. Fucking California roll. Also, no one goes to
That
no
makes
one
a little
gets
more
the
sense.
California roll in general. Don't get the California roll.
I like when a California roll just like comes extra.
And you're
It's
like, I don't want that, and nobody wants that. Like nobody here.
No, I always
wants
eat it.
that. Yeah. Well.
I always eat it.
Okay.
I can't get enough fake crab. I love like a fake crab mixed with rice. Like fine, I'm in. I like it because it's almost like it's good to have the California roll there whenever you order sushi, because it's like, we'll throw in a California roll because you might still be a little hungry, because if you don't eat it, like whatever, but you might still be a little
This is
hungry
the
and you have this
opposite
extra
of
little
the.
thing.
This is the opposite of the Gaga speech, and this is why you are not allowed to give a speech.
Me pulling my Kanye West to being, actually, Lady Gaga, California rolls. I did come here for California rolls, and let me tell you why.
Is this on? Testing 1, 2, 3. I actually would never turn down a California roll because sometimes when you eat sushi, you're a little bit extra hungry, and that's when you can eat the California roll.
It would actually sound a little more like this. I put my mask on. So actually, Lady Gaga, like, I did come for the California roll. Let me tell you why. So we can talk about the VMAs,
Just
which we
so
both
briefly,
watched against our
so
better judgment.
so briefly.
Keke Palmer did wonderfully. Let's talk about things that are appropriate to this podcast. Keke Palmer did wonderfully. She was great. It was pre-recorded.
Against all odds,
That's fine.
she did the best that she could have done in that situation. I think she was like the only person for the job, you know?
Mm-hmm. She was great. She was great. I watched a little bit of the pre-show, which I thought was really funny because they were doing like interviews with people 6 feet apart at various New York City locales. And I was joking to Lindsay, if this had happened, if there had been a pandemic before the widescreen television was ubiquitous, we would only see... We would only see the interviewer.
The 4-3 aspect, you couldn't fit both people 6 feet apart on the TV.
You definitely need, like, thank God social distancing is mandated during a time of widescreen, of wide 16 by 9 prevalence.
Right. The other iconic who's, I would say, at the event were the Toyotas in the drive-in, in the Greenpoint Drive-in, all those gorgeous those gorgeous Toyotas that were Spawn. But we did have BB Rexa presenting the best artist of the year or something.
Video of the
year.
It's the Video Music Awards.
BB Rexa presented the video
of the year. To not Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande as we expected.
The only award that Gaga lost was Video of the Year. It was just so like weird and like messy, but then also somehow not messy. Like in its not messiness, it was messy. I don't know how to say it, like how to explain that. It felt surreal and it felt as inauthentic as it was weirdly authentic. Again, very confusing. But I do think the one thing that I've taken from this is that award shows need a live audience, not necessarily to be live. I think live is obviously the best you can get, but they need a live audience, because the thing with this show is it had nothing to like reverberate against, you know, like there was no meeting of the minds. Like VMA is all about like who's meeting who and who's taking photos with who and who's there and what's
And
their
audience
reaction
shots.
and like the surprise of it all or whatever, even if it's not live, like the surprise of it. And we lost that element of surprise in this version.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like, you know, they say acting is reacting. I would argue, I'd take it a little step further. I'd say life is reacting, Lindsay.
Oh my God.
And it's not real life.
You sound
if
like
don't see
Gaga
reactions,
accepting
if you're
her
not rea-
her 15th award of the night. Right, like it just felt
I would
very.
say life is reacting. Lindsay, I would say life is reacting. I put my mask
Your
on
mask
again.
voice is funny. Yeah.
I will say, if you had just woken up, if you had been Jared Leto at your, you know, very, very long meditation retreat, and you woke up on August 30th, whatever, 2020, and you didn't know what was going on, and you didn't know about the pandemic, you just watched the VMAs, you would think Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande, Rain on Me and Chromatica were the most important things to happen to
Right.
pop culture in the past
Well, that's
decade.
the other thing is like the thing about the VMAs, and honestly most award shows, is that they somehow like try and rewrite history or whatever. They're like, this was
Yeah.
the biggest thing, this was what everybody was talking about, this is the most, and it's
Green
like
Book.
and it's like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, like Chromatica's huge and I loved it, but like it, like the biggest song of the year is like WAP, like no mention of that,
The
barely.
biggest artist of the year is like, Megan Thee Stallion.
Right, is like and like Cardi or whatever. So like you have these two women who are barely in it. Like I guess Megan was kind of in it but not there. And usually this
Megan
is more
showed up, not
it's-
there, yeah.
I think it would have been more obvious if it would have been an event that they weren't there, but it almost felt like Bieber won something and he wasn't even there to make a video to say like thank you. Like what? Like how, you know, they couldn't get him to make a fucking video. It just felt very like not weirdly thrown together, even though it probably took a lot of work and there was a lot of missing pieces. But I also feel like every year the VMAs does a lot of like kind of plastering over what actually was happening on the music charts, you know?
Yeah. But I think Lady Gaga will get what she wanted, which is in retrospect, sorry, you're hearing me say this again, but
It's fine.
she is going to get the Getty images of this. Like in the scrapbook of 2020, she's going to have the tableau of that time that she wore 100 masks and 100 different costumes and did all of this stuff at the VMAs. Like these are the performances that are going to be remembered. They might not necessarily be like the most literally iconic and like impactful. I hate that word, sorry, but in the videos and the tweets and the photos, these will be used 20 years from now. Like we might get this inflated sense of how important Chromatica was simply because of this event.
I mean,
Because if you
I'll
look
talk
back
about
at
it every
the-
day till I die. So you'll get
But
the
if you
inflated
look-
sense of its importance via my interpretation of the event.
But what was what did Amanda Seals, the BET Awards, like they were great. That was like the first instance of like cool performances happening, but they were like socially distanced. They
Well, the
weren't
thing-
necessarily masked, and Gaga leaned
Right.
into the masks.
Right. She did like she wanted something that would stand the test of time, meaning represent the time. Remember when we all wore masks? Like, remember when that was a thing? And like, she wore fashion masks or whatever, which is like the Gaga version. I just think it's so funny. Like, the VMAs is awarding music videos, but what we got were just music videos that were honoring music videos again, because it's like the
Yeah.
taped performances were not. It was just this weird like meta celebration when
They
it's
were
supposed
videos.
to be right. It's like videos honoring other videos that are supposed to be better than the videos that we saw. It's just there was a lack of like excitement because it felt like too controlled environment. And the VMAs, as they always advertise themselves, are an uncontrolled environment. Like they would be the first to be like, we're wild. Who knows what's going to happen at the VMAs?
Not this year.
Not this year, but if you weren't a Chromatica fan, if you weren't a Gaga fan, you might as well have not watched. I'm just saying, like it was like I think we only give it the benefit of the doubt because Gaga did so well, and it was a delight to see her like happy or whatever, like shine in her element.
Or whatever.
Or
whatever.
The only award that we're concerned with as far as this show is concerned is the Best New Artist Push, or they call it the Push Best New Artist.
I was going to say, Lindsay, it's the Push Best New
Toyota
Artist.
presents the Camry the best artist, and she gets a Camry. I have a Toyota. I love Toyotas. I have a RAV4.
Doja Cat won.
Doja Cat won. She also performed.
I still think she's a who. She's still a who.
Well, Megan Thee Stallion is a them. We have some
Yes,
some
for
them
sure.
jumps this year, but you're right. Maybe Doja Cat's still a who.
I think she's still.
Her performance
I think
was something.
She is.
How dare you go to another planet when Chromatica is literally the whole show? Oh, I'm gonna go to another planet too. Okay, bitch, fine.
This shuttle is only making stops on Chromatica Doja Cat. I don't know what shuttle she took to her
How
planet,
did she even
but like
get there? I know.
But I think that and again, like being a chameleon is part of Lady Gaga's charm, but whenever that Doja did that bit where she was like the MTV News host before, like she introduced herself as an MTV News host.
Yeah, she did the like throwback to MTV News.
I was like, who is this woman? I was like, is this Alyssa Milano? Because I didn't
No,
I was
you
like, I
did
didn't
not think
recognize
it was
that was her
Alyssa
doing a bit. I
Milano.
thought it was Alyssa Milano,
No,
and
you
I was
did.
like, oh, here comes Alyssa Milano, like shoving her ass in where it doesn't belong yet
Shoving
again.
her
And
ass
like
Hi, this is something quirkier from MTV News. Performing live on Planet Her is Doja Cat. Enjoy. Who the is Doja Cat?
But it was just Doja in another wig. Like I'm still
You still don't know who this
confused
woman
by
is.
Doja Cat,
Yeah.
and I don't know exactly what her identity is. I don't really know what her shtick is, and maybe that's on me for not taking the time to do it. But I also
I mean,
think
she's
that like I
created
don't think
the
she
right,
really knows who she is yet.
Like amount of buzz though. Like she has a hit song. It's a
Yeah, for
TikTok
sure.
hit. She had controversy with her like weird chat thing. She like offended people. She's had hit songs to follow up the TikTok hit. Like she's she does like singing and she does like rapping. Like she has enough there, but you're right. Maybe there's like a thing missing if it's not clicking
Yeah.
for you.
I just don't. I don't know.
But
I don't
it
know
is so
her yet.
funny to me to bring I'm going to space aesthetic to literally a party where Lady Gaga's there and her entire album was like a space concept and she's going to win every single award. Like, did nobody from MTV be like, hey, Doja, like maybe choose another theme for you because you're going to be like swallowed up, like by the fame monster, aka Lady Gaga.
By Chromatica's gravitational field,
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I guess Gaga didn't do as much of like an alien on space like vibe for hers. Hers was more kind of like tubes, but like it still did feel weird and like cheap.
Brain pianos.
Very much like the thing from the swamp compared to like Lady Gaga's like fully realizing, okay, fine, these are just two stands that need to stop talking about Lady Gaga.
And we need to shut up. But we can move on.
We have big news.
Bella Thorne. Huge update.
Yeah, I mean, turns out
Bad form.
Turns out when you think it's good form, it's also could be bad form.
Yeah, we gave her the benefit of the doubt, and maybe we shouldn't have.
I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt, but also like the service and the platform and like the people using it and the creativity, the benefit of the doubt. And I think that got overwhelmed in terms of like, usually we're a little skeptical about celebrities like doing stuff. But like, I think for this one, we both wanted to like, we were like, Bella Thorne doing
Sean
a
Baker
new
being
interesting cool
involved.
thing. We like Sean Baker, like sounds positive. Let's move forward, But as it turns out, like, OnlyFans was not prepared as a system, as an app, as a whatever to support the mess up of somebody so big on the app, so that when what happened was, I guess Bella Thorne, and I don't know, I'm not an OnlyFans subscriber of Bella Thorne, so I don't know exactly what happened, but reportedly she put up, so I guess you can like, you charge people to see your stuff, and then you can
The monthly,
charge,
but then you can do tips.
you can charge but you can charge extra money to unlock other pieces within your stuff. So you're like, oh, this picture is special because like I'm holding a daisy. So do you want to see me hold a daisy? Click pay me $200 and you can unlock this photo. And I guess after saying I'm not doing anything nude, she said, this is naked, She charged $200. People clicked it. It was not what was promised. And they asked for refunds. And the system, because so many people asked for refunds, they couldn't handle that amount of refunding. And they basically had to shut down other aspects of their app for other users, aka the people who actually do need this app service to make money to pay for everything they pay for in their lives, weren't able to receive their money or even ask for certain amounts of money. I guess like the max amount that they could ask for different services lessened because of this. For me, I mean, I obviously think Bella Thorne shouldn't have lied to her customers. That is not very nice. But also, to me, the error on this leans way more on OnlyFans. And I think like if you let on somebody and you're gonna let them if you're gonna let them make a million, $2 million on your service, but you're not prepared if something goes wrong to refund that money or whatever. If it doesn't work, then you're at fault. I thought a lot of people kind of like blamed Bella Thorne, and yes, obviously, but I think it was more like I think it was a lot of it was on the app itself.
And she went on a thread after this because, I mean, the immediacy with which OnlyFans changed all of their policies and blamed Bella Thorne for it makes me think
they totally
right that like
her.
they wanted to do this anyway, which is fucked up.
That is fucked.
Because like the people, the actual sex workers using this and not upsetting their fans and not doing anything wrong are the victims here. And it sounds like these major changes to OnlyFans would not have happened without Bella Thorne. Anyway, maybe they would have, but using Bella Thorne as the excuse,
right, like she was used as a scapegoat. Like conveniently, she came along and allowed them to make restrictions on their app that hurt people's day-to-day work, and that
but they didn't have to do
sucks. Right, and they weren't prepared. Like they used Bella Thorne for press, but they weren't prepared to even work with the amount of money that she brought in, so that when it all kind of went to shit very quickly, they had to punish other people on their platform.
Other people.
They're just out here. They're going to punish the people who they think don't matter, you know?
She apologized for hurting people. She went on a long thread that seemed heartfelt. I don't know. The Sean Baker stuff.
Well, then they went to Sean Baker and they were like, are you working on a movie with Bella Thorne? He was like, no. But I do think that's because this got such negative press. Maybe they had one conversation or like a moment or like an exciting something. And like he was like, well, I never agreed to do anything. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that
they probably had a conversation and she extrapolated from it. Yeah.
And she got excited and she was like, this is why I'm doing this, to like pitch this guy this project to work on and work with him. And he, once this all got bad press, he's like, well, I'm not out here, you know, trying to upset people who I've been trying to uplift through my like career. You know what I mean?
And I'm looking at like the other thing that OnlyFans did. They didn't just change the maximum amount of money you can like tip for little extra things.
They changed the payout schedule.
They changed the payout schedule.
Yeah,
so it says the site has also extended the waiting period before they're allowed to cash out their earnings from 7 to 30 days. And this is obviously like to make up for, like, in case a Bella Thorne type situation happens in the future and they get all this money and then they have to refund it. Like, they want to make sure that the money hasn't already been cashed out by then. I understand that from like a logical standpoint, but also you're punishing people who haven't done anything wrong.
And also
like,
these people have put their businesses on your platform with the promise of getting paid this often. If they knew they weren't getting paid this often, or if they knew that was going to change, they would have used a different platform. There are a few other platforms. And so they would have used one where they do get paid weekly. And this would have all crashed down eventually. It just happened before OnlyFans was even ready, or maybe they were never ready to figure a problem out like this. You know what I mean?
I'm willing to believe that they were never ready to figure out a problem like this.
Yeah.
Who's next on this list?
Dorinda. We have a little housewife run here. But
so Dorinda's leaving. Dorinda left by choice, right? She wasn't fired.
We wouldn't have covered Dorinda leaving Housewives because I don't think that like kind of goes. If we covered every time a housewife left who left a housewife franchise, we would never stop talking. Like it just wouldn't
I think the only housewives now that I think is part of the canon is Real Housewives of Potomac, but that's only because we both just watched the entire series front to back, and we're now currently watching the new ones.
Right, but also like, you know, when housewives make big news, you're talking about stuff that they do outside of their like outside of the show. Like, I think we did briefly talk about the Beverly Hills drama with Denise Richards, but I think that was because of the excitement of Denise Richards joining Housewives as somebody who was like slightly less hooey than the housewives themselves, who are total Nas and then become who's. But Denise Richards was a them who became a who by joining Housewives, or in general.
Right.
But the thing about the Dorinda stuff that I thought was funny, at least whatever, is that it opened a door to a who's like journey, a financial journey within the jobs. Because I think people always wonder, like, how much they get paid. Like, a lot of them, even though they appear to be rich or not as wealthy as like they lead on, they live such wealthy lives. So you're like, where is this money coming from if not the salary from Bravo? Which I think the salaries from Bravo are pretty good. But this was so funny because Dorinda Medley was let go of the show, or she left on her own accord. It's not clear, and both parties are, no one knows why. But the best thing about this was like Page Six, who this is like right up their alley in terms of coverage. They come out with this report that not only that like it's going to be a problem for her in many levels, but the main problem that she might have is that literally she doesn't pay her rent because she gets a free apartment because she promotes her apartment on the show. Her $10,000 a month apartment is not going to pay for itself once it's not getting the promo. And the funniest thing about this is that she lives in this 3-bedroom, 2.5 bedroom rental in the Oriana, located on 420 East 54th Street, which is an area that I've never heard of being called Sutton Place, but apparently it's called Sutton Place. It's like
Sutton Place.
It's literally like a 1 avenue, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 block zone in like Midtown East. East. On the show, she does have these weird segments where she'll be like, I love my neighborhood and nobody like respects my neighborhood in Midtown but like I love living here and it's so perfect. And now you're realizing, oh, she's literally like doing her due diligence brand sponsorship for this free apartment that she lives in.
What's amazing is this 30 blocks down and 4 avenues over have changed the whole dynamics of my life. It's easy to get to Hannah. It's easy to go see John. It's easy to walk to Bergdorf's. It's great.
You're right. Like this is not a neighborhood I've ever heard anyone brag about, let alone talk about, like talk about, let alone brag about. It's just, for those of you who watch The King of Queens, it's just south of the Queensboro Bridge on,
for those of you who watch
in Manhattan.
King of Queens.
You know, the opening of Queensboro Bridge, whenever Kevin James is driving his UPS truck over the Queensboro Bridge, think just south of that. It's not the most desirable place. It is Manhattan, but it's not really near anything. It's sort of like we talked about Jennifer Lawrence having her apartment kind of just near hospitals on the east side of Manhattan and in Midtown East. And she's like, no one wants to buy this house because it's just near hospitals and schools.
It's another window into like how celebrities or who-lebrities, once they're famous enough, can continue to not pay for enough stuff so they continue to be rich.
And I'm sure you get addicted to that. Like we get some calls sometimes, like gossip of ex-celebrity. I mean, these are also just out there in the blogosphere, to use the term. But it's like, yes, there are always stories about celebrities who are trying to get something for free and pulling a like, do you know who I am card, or I'm this, can you seat me, whatever. And it's easy to make fun of it, and it's easy to roll your eyes at it, and it's honestly very offensive to people who have to pay for everything that they want, need, or use. But it's understandable that you would get addicted to that sort of stuff. Like, once you realize that you can get stuff for free, of course you're going to keep, like, testing the fences with it, like the Raptor fences, and see what you can get away with.
Well, also, if it's housewives and you're expected to be like rich, but you're like not rich, it's like, oh, well, I have to maintain the semblance of wealth, even though like I'm not really wealthy. Although,
it's part of the job.
Like, or I'm not as wealthy as I lead on. It's part of the job. So you figure out a way around it.
And what's the number one thing you'd want to get paid for if you were a celebrity? Your apartment, your home, your house payment.
Yeah.
Garcelle Beauvais. Speaking of Housewives, she's off Housewives and hosting The Real.
I don't know if she's fully off Housewives, though. She might also stay on Housewives. There's been mixed.
Because she just joined Beverly Hills, right?
She just joined Beverly Hills. She was like Denise Richards'
yeah,
only
you're right.
friend.
She could do them both.
She could do them both. She might not. I mean, I guess you're right. Like, what would you do? I would just be like, fuck you, Housewives. Like, I'm on to bigger and better. She's joined The Real table, which you know is a very iconic zone.
That is an in-demand table. She's taking Tamara's spot.
But I guess you're right. She fills as a mom, she fills the Tamara role. Like Tamara's a mom and like whatever. I think she'll be great from what I've seen from her on Housewives. She's like she's very funny and she has like good little quips, but she's pretty like she's like even tempered. Like
and I think she adds a little prestige to it as well.
For sure.
Like the Amanda is famous. Amanda has been around for a long time, but Amanda was sort of niche. And I think Garcelle, because she is on like a housewife show, she has like a more them-y past than maybe Amanda did. Like she is filling the Tamara role because Tamara was probably one of the most famous ones whenever that show started.
Oh, for sure.
You know, like
for sure.
She's filling the prestige. She's not head of the table, but like she's filling that sort of vibe of a role.
Speaking of, isn't there like a View person who's like coming back? Like who is like? It was reported that like somebody from The View was like returning to The View. If we're gonna talk about people,
oh, Sarah Haynes,
like she's
Sarah
like
Haynes.
coming back to The View
recently.
Yeah,
That's
weird, right? I don't even like know.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Who is even left at this point? Meghan McCain is still there, right?
Whoopi's still there.
So it's
Joy's
going to be
still there.
Whoopi, Joy, Meghan, Sunny, And then Sarah's coming.
Sarah's back. What era? I don't even remember what era Sarah was in. Like, who was she? Who was her View counterpart?
She was 2016 through 2018.
Oh, so recently. She just left and came back. Okay, interesting. And
I haven't watched The View in a long time.
Me neither. I'd rather watch The Real, but I haven't watched that in a while either. Although it hasn't really been airing, so it's not like you can really
I watched
watch
The
it.
Talk for like 2 episodes once Marie Osmond showed up, and then I was like, I've had enough. I've had enough.
Our new host, Marie, is nursing a knee injury, but she's still flying back and forth to do her Las Vegas residency through November. And last week, she took quite a tumble just days before her Talk debut. Take a look.
Speaking of having enough.
Speaking of toxic
Dennis
entertainment, Dennis Quaid.
I cannot believe this.
Are we calling him a who in this like segment?
No. He's fully a them. Dr. Drew is the who.
Oh, are we sure?
And his
Are you
podcast
sure,
is
Dennis
The Who.
Quaid? I feel like he's on his way to who? Like, quick. Like, what's the next? What's
Yeah,
the last
he's
big
got
thing Dennis Quaid has been in? I get that he's
like
in
one of the dogs, a dog's purpose, a dog's journey, like the dog.
But he's the
dog
dog.
that's on a roll.
Isn't he the dog?
I believe so. Yeah.
Hey, it's Future Lindsay here. Just popping in to say that Dennis Quaid is not the voice of the dog in A Dog's Purpose or A Dog's Journey. The voice of the dog is Josh Gad. But let's just pretend like it's Dennis Quaid for the sake of this episode. All right, bye.
That isn't getting any easier. That isn't getting any easier.
Okay, I think he's a who. I'm saying who.
You're calling him a who?
Yeah.
I'm fine calling him a who. So Dennis Quaid has this podcast that he launched right at the beginning of the pandemic.
If you have to like
March
launch
16th.
a pod to like make up a fake thing about like the Denisance, like your return, like you can't make up your own like Denisance. Like you just can't. There's no Denisance.
The Renaissance, the busiest in the biz. You know who it is. It's Dennis Quaid. That's him.
And no offense, the little sketch drawing that is the cover art for this podcast is Dennis Quaid in, if I'm being generous, 1998. Okay, so like this is not.
Yeah, and didn't he just make the news by like marrying a woman who's like 35 to 40 years younger than him or something like that? Didn't he just make the
Laura
news for
Savoy.
that? Yeah.
39 years difference.
Okay,
39
I
years
was
difference.
close.
We don't even have, the thing about it is we don't even have to focus on that. We can just focus on what he says. Someone called our VIP line about this and was like, LOL, he adopted a cat and named the cat Dennis Quaid too. That's funny, right?
The shelter named the cat Dennis Quaid. You know how sometimes shelters will name cats funny names to like get them adopted, or like dogs and animals.
Yes.
They named the cat Dennis Quaid, and then he adopted it. And that was like the press. Like that's like good press for like animal adoption. He said, "Of course, I need to adopt this cat now." Okay, that's it.
It's funny.
That's it.
So someone called. It's a funny human interest story.
That is
a funny
the
thing
most
Dennis Quaid did.
people.com story that could ever exist, right? You know, like.
And then, we find out that Dennis Quaid has this podcast, which I think maybe we even talked about because something about it rang a bell, but I'm not listening to this thing. And I finally decided I'm going to see what this podcast is all about. And I'm scrolling through Lindsay. I mean, tell me where your eyes would stop. There aren't that many episodes of this podcast, maybe like 15, like full episodes. And we got the first one, Dennis and Billy Ray Cyrus on baseball, music, and self-exploration. Like, why? Dennis and John Carter Cash. Dennis and Billy Bush. No, thank you. Garcelle Bouvet was on there. Dennis and Garcelle Bouvet. Still didn't listen to it.
Okay.
Dennis and Adam Carolla. No, thanks. Dennis and Clint Black, country singer. Then I'm just scrolling. Dennis and Katie Kirk.
I'm sorry,
Who
but
cares?
these guests are wild.
I see this. He interviews the screenwriter of A Dog's Purpose and A Dog's Life, which is really funny. That came out last week. Dennis and Dr. Drew on COVID-19. Stopped dead in my tracks. I'm like, I have to hear what this guy says about COVID-19 because I have a feeling it's going to be a problem.
These two geniuses on COVID-19, yes, 100%. CDC who?
Let me.
More like DQD Drew.
DQDD. Right. I only listen to DQDD, Dennis Quaid and Dr. Drew. So, Dr. Drew, in case you're like, in case your eyebrows raised when you thought about like coronavirus / Dr. Drew, you might remember that back at the beginning of the pandemic, Dr. Drew, who is a very like, I don't know, influential, quote unquote, but like high profile, how about that? High profile doctor with the platform said that the coronavirus was, he was angry about, quote, press-induced panic. He talked about, the fact that it wasn't going to be as bad as people said, blah, 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 blah.
It's
Ultimately,
so
he ended up
funny.
apologizing.
Right, but he's also had controversies in the past where he's made like people have gone to him with like doctor questions and he's made like controversial.
He's a reality TV star.
He literally has been in Celebrity Rehab, Sex Rehab, Celebrity Rehab Presents Sober House, Dr. Drew podcast, This Life with Dr. Drew, Dr. Drew After Dark.
But also, like, when it comes to specialties, his specialty is addiction. So it's like, I don't necessarily want to talk to my, like, just my normal doctor that I go to for physicals about maybe, like, neurological questions that I have. You know what I mean? Like, his specialty is not epidemiology, right?
He hasn't, and also he hasn't practiced, like,
in a while,
in a long time.
The point is, like, we're not going to Dr. Drew with all of our burning questions about COVID. And if we are, like, the question is why? However, Dennis Quaid is like, I have questions about COVID. Who am I going to call? Dr. Drew Pinsky. So he does, and he turns the mics on. So I'm listening to this, and I took all these clips because I was like, as it just kept going. First of all, audio quality is terrible. Secondly, they sort of sound alike. So sometimes you're like, what is Dennis Quaid doing saying something like this? And then you realize it's Dr. Drew. They repeatedly referred to the politicization of this virus. And they leave things out. You know what? Let's just start with this. Let's just play some clips.
Yeah, both of these came from China, originated in China. Did they not? Yeah, swine flu was documented as being a natural occurring phenomenon, whereas COVID, we don't exactly know yet.
Correct.
Yeah,
there are aspects of the biology, or the genetics of this virus that make it hyper-infectious, that are sort of characteristic of changes that people use in biowarfare. Not to say that it couldn't occur in nature, it just tends not to. And so that's what has people kind of look.
That particular bat that it came from didn't live within 500 miles of that lab or the city of Wuhan.
Right. Those sorts of question marks. Again, no one is saying there's no smoking gun, but there are question marks. I don't know.
So in case you weren't sure what was happening there, that's Dennis Quaid saying, it sounds to me like the coronavirus is a lab-made thing. And Dr. Drew not correcting him and saying that, yeah, people do have questions. As far as I can tell, people don't have questions. And then he says a conspiracy theory that I've never even heard before. And I was Googling it, trying to find more, that the bat that apparently started the jump from animals to humans didn't live within 500 miles of Wuhan. It's like, where are you going with this?
I don't know.
There's just some crazy, weird, vaguely racist and ultimately problematic and fucked up thought experiments happening on this podcast.
You know what this makes me think though, or what this feels like is Dennis Quaid is going for a Joe Rogan thing, or at least he had these celebs, they want to branch out and do the next thing or whatever, and Dennis Quaid sees Joe Rogan and is like, oh, I could do that, I got politics, babe,
I got questions,
I got questions. What if your dog all of a sudden was like, hey, the coronavirus
is lab
made, and you're like, I'm returning you,
I'm taking you back to the shelter, bitch.
I know I adopted you because your name is Dennis Quaid, but you're going back to the pound because I can't deal with you.
He is one step away from fully calling it the China virus. It's unreal, and I get that. Not a lot of people are listening to the Denissance, and maybe he doesn't have the impact that
Who Weekly does.
That Who Weekly does. Let's not kid ourselves. Maybe more people are listening to this than Who Weekly. They just don't tweet about it. But there is something that was just extremely disturbing to me to hear this guy using his platform. God, I hate getting on a soapbox here, but to
step up,
speak like this. This is the most unhelpful shit. It's racist shit. It's untrue stuff. You're bringing up someone who has a history of being if not a liar, a guy who isn't to be trusted. And I'm talking about Dr. Drew Pinsky. Like, he had his chance and he blew it. And now here's Dennis Quaid, newlywed Dennis Quaid, taking the mic and being like, we should question people. And then
newlywed voice of dog Dennis Quaid.
Voice of dog Dennis Quaid. And then we've got this point where Dr. Drew starts, condemning the politicization of this virus, and like no one wants to listen to medicine. And it's like, people are trying to listen to medicine, but it's the president that's refusing to let them do it. Like, the whole thing, there were just everything that's left unspoken, and the things that are spoken just left the most disgusting taste in my mouth.
I think
and, like,
what the point
fuck this
of
guy.
this is down with all celebrity podcasts.
Yes.
I'm serious. Like, it's enough. You've done it. Good for you. You tried it. It didn't work out. None of this is going to work out for you. Give it up. Move on. There's a few other celebs who launched podcasts recently, and I have to say, it's not working out. So pack it up. You can sell the mic. You can sell the microphones. I'm sure somebody will want them, and just...
Well, he's not using microphones. They are clearly just recording on AirPods. Like, it's the worst sounding podcast I've ever heard.
Well, that's the other most kind of like iconic thing, is the reveal of what celebs actually don't have like a production team or something. Like, they're just like, because then all of a sudden, like, their mid-pandemic audio just goes from like bad to just like incomprehensible.
The one right after this, he spoke with Sharon Stone. I'm willing to accept the podcast where Dennis Quaid talks to Sharon Stone.
I'm not.
I don't want to hear him talk about the pandemic.
I'm not.
I don't want to hear him talk about medicine. I don't want to hear him talk about
Probably
politics.
brings this shit up every episode. Sharon Stone's like, what? I don't want to talk about that.
Dennis Quaid's wife is like, Denny says it's just the flu. It's like, get me out of here. Get me out of here.
And poor Dennis Quaid's new cat, Dennis Quaid, who has to listen to this shit.
God.
Cat didn't get to
The
choose
dog.
its own name.
God.
The dog that's...
A dog, the next one, a dog's theory. It's like, well, I think it was built in a lab.
A dog's
It's like, wait, what?
The threequel.
You adopt a
Everyone's
dog
like,
that's like...
a dog's purpose and a dog's journey, they were fine, but you gotta skip the threequel. It got weird.
Got weird, a dog's theory.
My dog's theorizing things.
My dog has some thoughts about Wuhan. Okay. Skip. Thank God theaters are closed.
Oh my
like,
God.
no one needs to be seeing this.
That movie
Okay.
skipped VOD and just went straight to trash.
This podcast is brought to you by Squarespace. Can't imagine it any other way. WhoWeekly.us is a Squarespace. It will always be a Squarespace. We love our Squarespace.
Even if they said no more advertising on this podcast, we would still have it be a Squarespace, because honestly, it's just the easiest, sanest way to have a website on the internet at this point.
Yeah. I really can't think of another option.
No, I wouldn't even know how to do another option at this point. It's like, it is a perfect way. I know they have all the features I need. If there's a new feature that I need somehow in the future, I know that they're going to have it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say there's something we need to do on this website that I can't even think of right now. I know that
As
in the future
technology advances,
that they will have our
I
back.
trust that Squarespace will keep up.
Well, because right now it's like, we have our tour dates that we're able to change on a whim,
Very
which we
easily.
need to. But Squarespace does plenty of other things. They've got, you could do a course, you could host a course, you could do analytics, you could do email campaigns, you can take payments, you can sell stuff. I mean, it's like
sell stuff
we could do whatever we wanted on Squarespace, and I am actually comforted knowing that I could do that in the future.
Yeah.
So head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/who and save 10% on your first purchase of a website or domain. That's 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
I slept in a terrible bed at one of our dates this tour. I won't reveal where it was because I don't want to be super rude, but the bed was absolutely horrendous. Big dip in the middle. I was
Yeah.
always like rolling into the center. It was so bad. My back hurt so bad when I woke up. And guess what? When I got home, my favorite part of being home was getting in bed.
Yeah,
I
you
was
were like back into
finally,
my mattress.
It's real.
Yeah.
It's a real bed that was chosen for me based on a quiz, the Helix quiz.
Right. And sometimes when people use my mattress, they're like, that's a little soft. And I'm like, yeah, it's made for me, not for you.
For you.
Which actually even drives home the fact that it's so made for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I kind of relish in the fact. I mean, I don't want my friends to be uncomfortable, but I'm like, I kind of am like celebrating the fact that it's like for my body, not for yours.
Mm-hmm. I just sleep so much better on my own mattress than literally any other mattress. And that's because Helix mattresses rock. I wake up, my back doesn't hurt. I wake up, I don't have night sweats. I wake up and I'm thrilled. I wake up and I say, I love you, Helix.
That's
so
incredible.
If you want to experience the joy that I experience every
the
time I
joy,
get in bed,
the
and
satisfaction,
every time I get out of bed, you should go to helixsleep.com/who because you will get 25% off site-wide plus 2 free dream pillows with any mattress purchase. Plus, get a free bedding bundle, which includes 2 dream pillows, a sheet set, and a mattress protector with any Luxe or Elite mattress order at helixsleep.com/who. That's helixsleep.com/who.
Okay.
I feel like we haven't had something as exciting as like one of our biggest thems dating someone who is fully brand new, like with no Hollywood adjacency.
Dating.
Yes, confirmed.
Not like
confirmed.
they're seen hanging out, like are they da. So this kind of like maybe confirms that the Aaliyah Shawkat thing wasn't romantic, although I kind of am like maybe it was like initially romantic, but then they just were better friends. There's something about that feels like they had mutuals and they were like in the right place, right time and met and people thought they would get along or something like that. That feels very like maybe they were put together, like something like that, and then they just were more friends because now you have photos of Brad Pitt, Aaliyah Shawkat, and this new woman who we didn't know at the time who are like together, and Aaliyah's like sitting in the back and she's just like, she knows she's the third wheel. Like she's like, yes.
I would love to be that third wheel. What a great third wheel.
Like she know, like these photos she knows are going to resurface in 6 months with like the reveal of this new woman. Like
and it happened.
The knowing look in her eye actually like is iconic. Like she like knew.
It's just so funny. It's like, why were we ever suspecting Aaliyah Shawkat whenever this one was right there?
Okay, but like
Aaliyah Shawkat, like on her bike. It always seemed like they were buds.
Because we didn't know who this woman was. We didn't know her. Who is she?
It always just seemed like Aaliyah was like, you know what? She was a good friend to Brad as he was like beginning his like the next stage in his recovery, and you know he was cool again because of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and you know he was going through it, and Aaliyah's like just seems like a nice person that you'd want to be friends with. But turns out this one has been there the whole time,
I have to admit,
and we just saw her.
I thought I secreted them to get like I wanted it to be them like. For Aaliyah's sake, like she probably was. For Aaliyah's sake, there's no way that you'd ever want to date Brad Pitt. Like it would just totally ruin your life. Think about it. Like it just would not be fun for anyone. And she's smarter than that. But I was like kind of like, oh, this is like a fun, quirky couple. Like she's creative. He always wants to be creative in this way, and like, you know,
he always wants to be creative.
Like whatever, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of more what. That was like wishful thinking. But as it turns out, nope. This whole time, Brad Pitt has been dating this, of course, 27-year-old German model named Nicole Poturalski, who speaks 5 languages and a proud mother of 1 and founded an organization to help sharks.
That's a Daily Mail
The
headline.
intense rollout of this woman's identity, first of all, the timeline of this woman was... Brad Pitt goes to France to meet up with this woman. There are extremely blurry photos of them getting off a plane. The photos are so blurry that it looks like when you're at the ophthalmologist and they like are like, can you see now? It's like the first
one or two.
It's like the first time where you're like, I cannot read any of these letters. And he reportedly took her to Miraval, which people were like, that's where he got married, so scandalous. But it's also like, yeah, well, that's where his business is. That's where his house, like that's where he probably has a place he stays. Like where?
Also, he went to do like business stuff for the wine, for their rosé. Like he went to like film a commercial for them or something, and they met didn't they meet at the restaurant?
Okay, so this woman, as the information's rolling out every day, we get like a new piece of information, and we find out that this woman, so she has a kid, she's still married, her husband, who is 68 years old, she's 27, just FYI, owns a restaurant, a like kind of like buzzy restaurant in Germany.
It's so famous.
It's called Borchardt, is it? It's like they call it iconic.
Borchardt. It's like extremely. I was reading into the history of this restaurant yesterday, and it's like it's been around for like hundreds of years. It was one of those restaurants that's like the actual space that it's in
is iconic.
Has been used as this iconic restaurant for hundreds of years, but he reopened it like 20 or 30 years ago, and it's just this like expensive restaurant, but it's not like So it's it's on the Michelin guide, right? So but it doesn't have a Michelin star because it's like it's expensive food, but it's also very like plain food.
Right, it's like rustic
casual food.
German
Right.
food.
So it's not like fancy chic stuff, but it's like every celebrity goes to this restaurant when they're in Berlin because it's just like good. The way it looks like it's expensive like home cooking in a way.
Nice.
But like German home
Sounds
cooking.
great.
And apparently it's like incredibly chic.
Brad and Quentin go there. They were, quote, regular guests at the restaurant while they were filming Inglourious Bastards, which was from 2009. So they met in 2009, almost 10 years ago.
That's not when they met.
When did they meet?
It says they met in 2019.
Sweet. So, but he was he was a regular.
He met the husband in 2009 first, which is funny.
But he went back to the restaurant later on and met the wife, met his girlfriend.
Yes.
That is.
And then he went back to the restaurant in August 2019, and it's a famous restaurant. So she was, I guess, there because people go there.
He came to the restaurant to celebrate Once Upon a Time. And Brad was introduced to Roland's new wife, Nicole, and she passed him her number. So I guess, like, they have an open relationship, her and her husband, and it's like, whatever. And she was like, oh, Brad Pitt, gave her his number, and they've been dating since then, November 2019.
Well, they met in August 2019. She gave him her number.
And they've been dating.
And then they started dating.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Alia stuff has been happening through all of that.
Right. She was the fucking red herring. She's the red herring.
She's the red herring. The photo that you put in here of Brad and Nicole, who, like, these photos have been around. We just didn't pay attention to this Nicole because Alia is there. Alia's right there. So it's like suddenly you look at it with 2020 hindsight, and it's like, oh, duh. And meanwhile, Alia's in the back being like, he. And the caption is Brad Pitt, German model Nicole Poturalski, and Alia Shawkat.
I can't get over
Parentheses, rear.
the fact that, like, this, like, the new lens that we're looking at this story, it's like they're sitting next to each other and she's literally sitting behind them. And the rollout of this information is fascinating because it's like, oh, they're dating. Oh, she has a kid. Oh, she's married to this old guy. Oh, he owns a restaurant. Oh, they're still married. Oh, my God.
Oh, Ollie is just a friend.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
In the midst of all this, he's, like, in a fucking court case still with Angelina Jolie.
Custody battle.
Yeah.
This sentence from I think this was in the Daily Mail because they always use weird movies. The Ad Astra frontman and the one and only Ivan star custody the Ad Astra frontman and the one and only Ivan star's custody trial is set to begin in October.
The one and only Ivan star?
That's Angelina Jolie, the one and only Ivan star.
The one and only Ivan star. The one and only
Who
Ivan
has a song
star.
in One and Only Ivan, like Charlie Puth?
Yeah. Written by Diane Warren.
Oh, great.
Wet Ass Poothy has a song in that.
Oh, Wet Ass Poothy. The song is called Free.
Great.
What
Brad
else
and
is on
Nicole were
this?
introduced through friends, and when they started seeing each other, they told no one about it. Even some of their inner circle of friends are only finding out now, a source told the outlet.
I'm sorry. He told Alia. He told Alia, his best friend
that
Alia.
was their connection. Like, he told Alia, and she knew the whole time, and that was, like, why he trusted her. Also, this is all reporting from, like, Us Weekly, Daily Mail, OK Magazine. Everyone kind of got the scoop at around the same time. There's no, like, I don't know if there was, like, an exclusive thing.
We were talking about this over the weekend, but it's also like, duh, we're idiots for ever thinking that Brad and Alia were dating, because if they had been dating, that is great press for both of them. Their publicist would have confirmed it immediately if that were true, because that makes them both look cool.
Well, it is interesting that they confirmed this immediately and never confirmed that because it wasn't true. When we thought they were just being, like, coy or, like...
Right, but this was confirmed in 2 seconds. The moment we see of the blurry photo of Nicole and Brad leaving a private plane, Brad's publicist confirms to Us Weekly that it's true, you know? Or a publicist confirmed that it was true. So, like, that's how it works with people like him. And so we should have been a little more sus back when it was like, Brad and Alia are fucking? And it's like, I don't know, maybe they were fucking, but it was never a relationship.
Okay.
Meanwhile, he's like, I'm in love with this woman. Oh, my God.
This woman. Okay.
And now TMZ Travel presents Brad Pitt and a hot German model Frenching.
Brad Pitt might have a new girlfriend because he flew to the south of France on a private jet with a German model, Nicole Poturalski. Does anyone know how to say that?
Doesn't matter. She is unbelievable.
And not just because she's 30 years younger than him. but it doesn't hurt.
Wait, I didn't even see what the Tammy Hembrow
Well, the Tammy
story
Hembrow
was.
stuff
I
is
just-
really fast. It's very fast. But do you
Okay.
remember the last time we talked about Tammy Hembrow where they called her out for having a tag in the photo?
Oh, the tag was on the couch.
Remember
Yes, the tag was on the couch.
So Tammy Hembrow is like often, she's like Australian. She's like
Mm-hmm.
kind of a thirst trappy Instagram model type. So she's like off and on in the tabloids for like various sexy related things. But the newest one really cracked me up because it's essentially a repeat of the tag. So the old article says, wait, hold on. Can you spot what's wrong with this clip? Bizarre abnormality spotted in video where Instagram model Tammy Hembrow explains why she collapsed at Kylie Jenner's 21st birthday party. So she made that video where she apologized for like being taken out in a stretcher or something, and because she drank a lot, and there was a tag on the couch and everybody was like, the tag's on the couch. Now, this is really funny because the news story about her is this.
Can you tell what's wrong with these selfies? Fans notice a disturbing detail lurking in the background of Tammy Hembrow's raunchy Instagram post.
But like, so I'm like looking at the photos and I'm like, what is it? What is it? What is it? Like, I don't know what, like, I can't tell what it is. Like, she just looks like a normal thirst trap taken woman. She's in her bathroom, da-da-da. And then the reveal that the thing in the background is the toilet. The toilet is in every photo.
They just don't like that there's a toilet in her photo.
They don't. They don't like that this woman has a toilet in her
this
bathroom.
caption of her showing her full ass sitting on a counter, and the toilet's in the background because it's a mirror selfie. She says, the caption on the Daily Mail is, too much information? The most recent example of this was a post uploaded on Wednesday, which saw a bikini-clad Tammy perched seductively on the vanity with her derriere in full view. But they're upset about the toilet, not the full ass. They're like, can you believe this woman is showing her full ass perched on the vanity while a toilet is in the background? First of all, the toilet is clean. This is a clean
I know.
bathroom.
It's a nice bathroom. Anyways, I cannot
believe this.
I can't get over this woman is getting trashed for having a toilet in her bathroom. Where the fuck is a toilet supposed to go, people? If you took a selfie in your bathroom, you would cut out the toilet? Or would you? Now I'm like, would I cut out the toilet?
No.
No, you wouldn't cut out the
What
toilet.
I did do, I will say, I took a bathroom selfie for the first time, and I don't even know, like years and years and years of my life. Like a mirror selfie, and I sent it to all of y'all a few days ago, and
Right,
when I was
because you
wearing
got
that
the
shirt.
Jake Gyllenhaal Russ and Daughter shirt, which is gorgeous.
And I took a bathroom selfie, and you know what I did, though? Because I did feel weird taking a photo in the bathroom, but you know what I did first?
What?
The number one pet peeve.
What?
I cleaned the mirror.
Oh, well, that, you got to clean the mirror, or else you're not going to get
I was
a
like,
selfie.
I'm not sending a photo of my dirty bathroom mirror to my friends. I'm at least going to have the decency to clean the mirror.
You know what I would do, though? I would shut the toilet. Like, the toilet seat should not be up.
Oh, yeah.
Like, one of these
I
photos,
tend to shut the toilet.
one
I tend to
of
close
these
the lid no
photos,
matter what.
The toilet seat is up, and the toilet seat is down. I would shut the toilet, obviously. I would shut the toilet.
I'm worried about her putting her full ass on the vanity. Like, I don't care about the toilet in the background.
Justice for Tammy
She's
Hembrow.
even got, like, a chic brush.
Like,
She's got a chic
where
toilet brush,
is the
too.
toilet supposed to go? I just don't understand. Justice for Tammy Hembrow. Stop talking about her toilet. Let her take her sexy selfies and show the toilet.
Lori and Future may have broken up. This is not super funny. The funniest thing about this is that everyone's making jokes about it because she's not pregnant, and they're like,
Well-
"Wow, she got out of this relationship without having a baby."
I know, well, because Future has
Lucky her.
Future has a lot of babies. And Future has not just a lot of babies; he has a lot of babies, but from a lot of different women that he's dated. So people's joke was like, if Lori and Future broke up and she doesn't have a baby, then she got out of this unscathed, quote unquote.
This Hollywood Life copy is wild. Like, this is from Hollywood Life. Others pointed out that this breakup means Lori went almost 10 months without getting pregnant. That's quite a feat when taking into consideration that Future is rather prolific. What?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because it implies that, like, even if they were using protection while fucking, like, he somehow is so good at having babies that he would just
So
goes past
what
it.
do they think prolific means? What do they think prolific means in this context? Be sure to use birth control because Future's prolific. Like, what? I do think, however, that like Future's the them here. Lori Harvey, I think, is the who. So Lori Harvey, though, how I will say, I always feel like Lori Harvey's about to do something that's going to make her really
But, like,
famous.
what
for some
would
reason.
it be? Because, again, she's, like, kind of one of those, not again, talentless, but in a very Kardashian way where it's like, what's her job?
what's her job, what's her business.
She's
going to be.
nepotism.
I'm not sure.
But what's the other business? Model?
I think
model.
that she is a model. I think that she's a good personality. She's like an interesting nepotism because we don't really like her dad. And so because we don't really like her dad and really don't have any problems with her, we're sort of like, yeah, step out of your shitty dad's shadow and make a name for yourself. Like, there's something sort of interesting and unique about her narrative.
We don't like her dad, but I would say like Steve Harvey is a pretty iconic cultural character. Like, people kind of do like are endeared to him, even though he's kind of problematic, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Like,
and he hasn't been like he's still doing fine. I think there's just like a lot of problems with regards to his like opinions about the place of women in society.
Oh, I agree, which is which is why the irony of Lori Petty existence is like double
Lori Harvey.
What did I say? Lori Petty.
Not Lori Petty.
Sorry, Lori Petty's even more of a who than Lori Harvey. That's like rude.
I do not want to talk about Lori Petty. No, thank you. These tweets about Future. So glad Lori left Future without having a baby by him. She must have doubled up on Plan B. And someone else said, Lori Harvey escaped Future without a baby. An iconic queen. God. Adelaide Kane.
Okay, here's a new person moving on from Lori and Future who may or may not have broken up. Again, it's not confirmed that they've broken up. They just unfollowed each other on Instagram, by the way.
Yeah, sorry. We didn't even say that. They unfollowed each other on Instagram.
So people are saying, oh, they broke up. Okay, but we don't know if they broke up. Again, unconfirmed. Okay. Adelaide Kane, new person. Oh my God, a newbie. We're excited about this. So this woman, this actress, she's an actress on Rain. She's an Australian actress.
The Royal Rain, not the Chromatica Rain.
A CW show called Rain. She's been on all 4 seasons. She goes on TikTok, and so she starts doing stuff on TikTok, right? And she has her Lisa Left Eye Lopez moment, her behind the music TLC moment, which is pretty amazing because I guess she posted some.
She said she was in debt.
She said she was in debt. And then somebody commented like, how are you in debt? Like, you are on TV, right? So she responds to this comment with like a new TikTok, and I'll play it.
Yeah.
Okay, look, this is fair. So generally speaking, SAG minimum for a series regular on a network show is $20,000 per episode. So say I did 78 episodes on Rain. That pairs out to $1.56 million for 4 years of work, right? Right. So assuming that I've made $5 million in my entire career since I started working at 16, here is how that breaks down. 10% goes to my agent, 10% goes to my manager, 5% goes to my lawyer, 5% goes to my business manager, and then I get taxed a further 30% because I am a foreign national working in the US. So I lose 60% right off the bat, which leaves me with about $2.2 million over the last 14 years, which if you average it out comes down to $178,000-ish a year, which would be fine. Good wage, except that I have to pay rent in major cities, sometimes in 2 cities at once. I have to pay a publicist, which is usually $2,000 to $3,000 a month. When I've had social media teams, that's been around $2,000 a month. Stylists run anywhere from $700 to $1,500 an outfit, and hair and makeup is about $1,000.
It's part of me is like, wow, I love that you did the math, just like Lisa, but also it makes me think like, if I had asked her, like, I'm sorry, Adelaide Kane, when I Googled your net worth, it says 4 million. Like, how do you explain that? And she gave me that rant. I'd be like, I'd have stopped listening halfway through and been like, I didn't ask for your life story, Adelaide Kane. Like, shut up. Like, it's a little much. Like, halfway through, I'm like, okay, we get it, Adelaide. And you can tell she's like reading this script. I get it.
But it also just proves that these net worth sites are fake.
They're all bullshit.
They're all bullshit.
They're all bullshit. And a lot of it, she's going to get good press. I guess the net effect of this is going to be positive for her because it's going to be like, yes, like pay transparency, like this queen, we love it. But also, you've already noticed it coming, like the comments that are like, but you're spending all this money on glam and stylists and makeup and all these things that like you don't need, and like, don't complain about all these things that you don't need, blah, blah, blah.
But she is saying she does need them. Like, they're standard. Yeah. Like, if she's going to be at all more famous than, like, the CW Rain, 4 seasons of it.
Yeah.
And also the other thing that I think this comes into thing is that because she's Australian, she's paying more tax-wise and stuff like that. So, like, that's also, like...
It's a different story, yeah. it's not, I wouldn't even call it Lisa Left Eye Lopez 2.0 because the TLC situation was completely different. They were fully being taken advantage of by every single person around them.
Right.
So it's like, it wasn't just a factor of, 10% goes to my agent, 10% goes to my lawyer, 10% goes to my manager. It was like their labels and like Pebbles, all of those people were getting so much more than they deserved because they signed a shitty deal when they were little.
It's a Lisa moment in tone only because the reality of this is like, yes, maybe agents and managers do rip you off, but this isn't like, she didn't sign a bunk contract. This is just the way that, unfortunately, the industry that she's in functions.
Lisa, may she rest in peace, didn't need notes. Lisa had it all in her brain. This woman is clearly reading on her phone.
Wait, I mean, she did the math, but she did the math. We respect when somebody does the math.
Lisa learned her lines.
She played Mary Queen of Scots on Reign, by the way. But also, it's kind of crazy. She was only paid $15,000 per episode. That is really inexpensive. That's really cheap if you think about the amounts of money that people are paid per episode. The housewives are paid more than that.
Some big news that happened today that came out of nowhere, came out of the woodwork, came out of nowhere. As Niecy said herself, #plot twist.
Well, shout out to one of our friends for texting us and being like, Niecy Nash is queer? And we were like, I don't know. And then, you know, she was married for 8 years to a man and they got divorced last year. And this is the plot twist.
She was married to another man before that, too. And their divorce sort of got some headlines because it was one of those classic divorces. Because Niecy Nash is, I would call her a them. I think Niecy Nash is definitely a them.
Do you think so? I don't know.
She's close. She's been around for I think it's okay. She's cuspy. She had her sort of, she had her sort of like prestige-y glow up in the past couple years because of Claws, because she started leading her own big show that everyone loves, Claws, and
but I wouldn't
she got
say
that Emmy
that show was
nomination
more
for When They See Us.
That show was kind of like a critical success. I'm not sure if it like blew up, but it seems like one of those shows, if they put it on Netflix, it would be huge. Do you know what I mean? Or maybe it is on Netflix, something like that.
It reminds me of I don't know what category, I don't know how I would actually qualify this or like categorize this, but both Claws and Good Girls are shows that my sister started watching randomly, and she was like, I don't know if you watch a lot of network television, but I really love Claws and Good Girls. And I was like, those seem like shows you would love. She was like, they're so good and you should watch them.
Yeah.
Good Girls is now on Netflix. Claws is not.
So Claws is not, okay, Claws is not on Netflix. Yeah, it just feels like one of those shows that if they put it on Netflix, it would have like a true second life. I mean, that's a lot of shows, but maybe Claws
already had 3
especially.
seasons.
Yeah.
Well, it was supposed to be, the funny thing was Claws was supposed to be an HBO show, if I remember correctly. Yes, it was supposed to be an HBO show. Then it became a TNT show. Point is, Niecy Nash has sort of had like a comeback, like a second wave of her career in the past few years because of Claws.
That's true.
And because of When They See Us. And now she's like being seen for the force that she is. Everyone sort of likes Niecy Nash. I don't think anyone has a problem with Niecy Nash. I think people think that she's hilarious. If you're a millennial like Lindsay and I, you loved Reno 911, I assume.
That's true.
But the point is, Niecy Nash just suddenly married a woman like yesterday, 2 days ago, a month ago, who knows?
Yeah.
She officially got divorced from her.
It's also weird to have a wedding now in general. Like, just like it's like that also is surprising, but like this is double surprising, right?
If it's gonna be a pandemic wedding, it's gonna be a fucking queer one, okay?
That's true. It's gonna be a plot twist queer wedding.
Me looking at photos of a straight wedding, like shaking my head, getting angry. Me looking at photos of 2 women getting married, I'm immediately giving them the benefit of the doubt. Well, I'm sure they all quarantined. I'm sure they all fucking quarantined. What's your problem?
Wow, the bias is strong.
Okay. Oh yeah, fully the bias. I mean, I'm opening up to it. I'm opening up about it.
Okay, just saying.
She got sort of big headlines earlier this year whenever she divorced Jay Tucker, who was her last husband, because her full name, her last name is Nash, but that was actually her first husband's last name. So her actual first name was Carol Denise Ensley. Then she married Nash, and she became Carol Denise Nash. And now she's married Jessica Betts, and she's Carol Denise Betts. So I think she's striking Nash from the record.
But she has to be Niecy Nash. How is she going to change her? She's going to change her Hollywood name?
It would be really fun if she did. Plenty of people change their Hollywood names.
Niecy Nash is such an iconic name. Like, it really is. Like, it really is.
Remember her show where she cleaned people's houses? Or she didn't clean people's houses. She just went to their houses and she was like, let's clean people's houses. It was like Hoarders, but not quite on that level. The TLC show.
I'm Niecy Nash, and this is Clean House, the show that rescues families from a cluttered home. We pull it all out, sell it at a yard sale, and then match the proceeds up to $1,000. But they don't get to keep that money. We use it for the renovating and decorating. The cleaning, painting, and organizing are all on us.
I can't believe her real name is Carol. That really says a lot. And now her name is Carol Betts. Like, they're just such
The new wife is a total who. She's a singer, but with like she doesn't have that many like followers on Spotify, to use that metric, just because it's the easiest one. But she does have like a toe in Whodom, because she was a reality show winner in the early 2000s.
No.
Lindsay, she won a reality show hosted by Missy Elliott in the 2000s.
Wait, the star finding one? The
Well, it was a show called The Road to Stardom.
Yes.
Did you watch The Road to Stardom?
No.
Hosted by Vanessa Manila Folders.
But I remember the show. She won the show.
And now, Missy Elliott is in search of America's next music sensation, an all-around artist who can not only perform, but write original songs as well.
This is a Missy Elliott exclusive.
On the road to stardom with Missy Elliott, thousands have auditioned, but only 13 performers will be chosen to travel across the country to be mentored by Missy and to compete for the ultimate grand prize. A recording contract with Missy Elliott's label Goldmine Inc., a released single, and $100,000.
She won the show. And I think I was reading like press releases about the show from the time, like contemporaneous press releases. And the way it was described, because I was trying to you can like find like Daily Motion. Like if you're looking for a reality show clip, like your best bet is Daily Motion. I was hoping to find like full episodes. I couldn't find any. I found like clips of her singing, because she sings this beautiful song that if not she wrote, I was seeing people say that her brother wrote it, but it's called Why Me. I'm sure you're going to play a clip here. It's gorgeous. There's a scene where she's singing it to one of the other judges, who was Mona Scott. She always finds a way to fucking weasel into this show. Mona Scott Young, a creator of Love and Hip Hop and everything.
She was the judge.
She was one of the judges.
So was Dallas Austin, and so was Tina Marie.
And Tina Marie.
Yeah.
Tina Marie was there too. But based on the press releases that I saw, ultimately, it looks like, because it was down to two people, it looks like Missy Elliott had final say, and Missy Elliott chose Jessica Betts.
What's so funny? Do you know who else was a contestant on this show?
Who?
You remember the artist Yellow Wolf?
Oh, Yellow Wolf. Oh, yeah. I saw that on the thing. Isn't that crazy? It's so
Yellow
weird.
Wolf it's just so funny how these shows are like forgotten, the actual shows, but sometimes there are people who were on, like they were like how Brie Larson auditioned for some random reality show, like singing.
Or like how I'm like very invested in the first season of The Mole was extremely important to me. Like
Yes.
didn't have any idea who Anderson Cooper was, but like watched every episode of The Mole and was like, who's watching The Mole? No one. And she's still singing. Her number one song on Spotify, and the song that you'll find if you search for her name on Twitter and you search her name on YouTube, is a song Catch Me, which is relatively new. She released it 2 years ago, but it must be one of the one. Well, there's a lot of like romantic language in it where it's like, I'm going to be the one, you're going to be, I want you to be the one who catches me. You know, it's very romantic. Niecy posted it almost in full on her Instagram stories, just covered in heart emojis. She's going to give her so much promo. I'm happy about that.
I love this.
But the thing that I was veering towards the story and then got lost on the way there was Niecy got headlines earlier this year because when she dumped her most recent ex, Jay Tucker, it was one of those classic stories where the rumor was that she got too sexy, and the husband was like, well, I don't like this because like, look at this.
Was it because she had this like comeback moment?
Well, she had a comeback, so it's sort of chicken and egg, right? So she had a comeback and she got more glamorous. This says that she like, you know, her bot, like she just started dressing sexy. This thing says that she got like surgery. I don't want to go into that, but like basically like she got more glamorous.
Yeah.
Because she was more high profile. She was in this big show that was doing well. Critics loved it. She was in When They See Us, which was a big deal. She got some Emmy nominations. Like, she got more glamorous, like you do. And this headline, Daily Mail, Niecy Nash finalizes her divorce from husband of 9 years, Jay Tucker, ... after insiders said the actress, quote, got a brand new body, and that's when their troubles began.
Oh my God.
He was like, you're too sexy now.
You got a brand new body. It's like, what?
So this story goes into her being like, it went to her head. She's all about her career now. Well, now looking back, even though this is only a few months old, it's clearly nothing to do with her new body.
Right.
Or
it's clearly everything to do with discovering you want to marry a woman.
Discovering that you want to marry the winner of The Road to Stardom with Missy Elliott.
Yeah.
So the way that they announced it is really funny. I love the way that they both just post the same photo on their Instagram. Apparently their wedding hashtag was all bets are off.
That's so cute. That's so cute. And it's bets with 2 T's.
With 2 T's.
That's
and
cute.
then if you scroll, because you have to scroll through the Instagram of the new woman, right? Jessica Betts music.
You gotta
on
scroll
Instagram.
through the woman.
You're like, what's going on?
Instagram.
Just scroll. Just some photos of her. Like, oh my God, there's Jessica Betts. Scroll. Oh, my new song Catch Me came out. Scroll. And then you scroll. And then who do you see? You see Niecy Nash on the grid. Niecy Nash is on the grid from July 12th, 2016. And listen to what Niecy Nash is saying. The caption, well, let me read the caption first. The caption is, so excited about my next #Bets project. I asked a few friends to join me on this one. Special thanks to @NiecyNash1 for being such an inspiration. 100 emoji. Stay tuned. #documentary coming soon. She loves posting, the alien emoji is clearly Jessica Betts' thing. She loves the alien emoji.
Wait. Sorry. I don't care about the alien emoji. So she knew her. So she met her in 2016 or was working with her in 2016. On some project?
Working with, unclear when they met, but they were friends. Listen to this video, Lindsay.
On a documentary?
Listen to the video. I tried to find the actual, I don't know if this project ever got off the ground, whatever this project is. I can't find the fruits of this project, but the point is this video exists from 2016. Listen.
Jessica Betts is an artist that feeds your soul. Get into it. I love you, Jessica.
I love you, Jessica.
So if the question was like, when did she meet this person? Did she meet her after or before? It's like she's been knowing Jessica.
I've already commented on this Jessica Betts video.
No, you haven't.
From the Who Weekly account. I love this place because I don't know a place that I love more. I don't know a place that I love more.
I love this place. Wow, that's such good sleuthing. Good sleuthing.
Yeah. What are the other things that I saw? Oh. The last thing that was funny. The Us Weekly's coverage of this. Like every website sent their push alert. Like they couldn't send out their push alerts fast enough. It's like, she's queer. She married a woman. Like no one can believe it.
Right.
So everyone's phones were exploding if you happen to have push alerts enabled for gossip rags. Us
Which
Weekly,
we don't recommend.
Us Weekly's coverage is so funny. It says this. Celebs immediately congratulated the newlyweds in the comments. Quote, I love you so much, Sarah Paulson wrote. Quote, so happy for you, Jesse Tyler Ferguson added. Lena Waithe also wrote, quote, congrats, Niecy Nash1.
Do you think
sending y'all so much love.
All the gay celebrities got like a double push alert?
All the gays got their own push alert. Holland Taylor is on like a leather armchair next to Sarah being like, I always suspected that one. And Sarah's like, shut the fuck up. No, you didn't.
Why in your fantasy is this the personality?
Holland's like, I always saw something in that Niecy Nash. I'm making her sound like Lauren Bacall in like a Fancy Feast commercial.
I don't know why she's like this. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like your impersonation of her. I don't know. Like what the characterization of their relationship is weird.
Like it's okay. So do we think she said Mrs. Carol Denise Betts on Instagram? Do we think she's actually gonna go? Like is Claus gonna say starring a cat, starring Emmy-nominated icon Niecy Betts?
No, no. I think the fact that she said Carol, like that's not a name that she's going to go by either.
Right. You're right.
Like I think the Carol is a giveaway. Like she's not all of a sudden going to be like Carol Denise Betts. Like that's her legal name.
Carol too.
But clearly if she didn't change her name from Nash when she divorced her first husband, it went to her second husband whose last name was not Nash. It was like what, Turner or something? Whatever it is.
No, Tucker.
She's not going to take like she's going to still be Niecy Nash, but like her legal name is.
Todd Haynes is like, I got to remake this. Let's pretend.
I just got that.
I mean, it's very similar. I mean. She divorced Harsh and moved on to Jess Betts.
Plot twist.
Plot twist.
Before the air lays out, will you catch me as I hoped you would before? Will you hold me when I can't fake it anymore? Catch me, I want you to catch me, baby. Catch me,
What was she wearing? Where was she seen? She posted what on Instagram? She's the Who Queen. Tens of people want to know all about the number one Who. Lindsay, Bobby, tell us now. What's Rita Ora up to?
Who is this woman?
Rita performed last night live for the first time in months. Did you see that?
Yeah, well, she did a UNICEF thing. She walked a red carpet. I'll tell you that. That was probably the most exciting thing she's done in months.
She did a full UNICEF performance. She was dressed like an angel. She was in a beautiful gown, lovely gown, beautiful gown. And she captioned her photo of the event, "So happy to perform last night for UNICEF. Such a pleasure to be able to sing on stage again after lockdown for such a good cause. 1.5 million raised for UNICEF. Thank you for making me feel like an angel." And she looks great. They raised $1.5 million.
Rita was like, "I'm taking no chances."
My first event in red carpet since lockdown. Such a pleasure. Thank you, UNICEF, for having me back this year as a performer and ambassador. I'm so proud of all the work you were all doing. Me to UNICEF. I'm so proud of all the work that you're doing. UNICEF's having a moment.
I know. And do you think that it cancels out like doing an event like this because it's UNICEF, because it's charity, or like, because it's UNICEF? I think it does.
I guess.
Like Rita's like, get me on a fucking red carpet. I don't care if it's UNICEF. I'll do it. But I mean, it's good that it's UNICEF. She probably was like happy that it was UNICEF. But I'm just saying, like, she's like, I got to get back out there. I got to get on a red carpet.
She was also on a boat in Capri, which is where I think that's where the UNICEF thing was.
Oh, I'm sure that helped.
On the boat. She said, "We're back with the boat. We're back with the boat pics. Not for long though. Here for a great cause with UNICEF UK as a proud ambassador. I can't wait to perform tonight. Get ready for me to blast up your feed."
Ew.
Kissy face.
Wait, but also like saying we're back with the boat pics, like Rita is like aware that all she does is go on people's boats and yachts. That's like very self-aware of Rita to just be like, back again with the boat pics. It's like, yeah, Rita, we know.
It's like, Rita, I didn't have to go far down your feed to find other boats. Or like, the last time you were on a boat was July 29th. Like, you were on a boat a month ago.
Yeah, she fucking loves being on boats. She knows. She's like, back on the boat. It's
really unreal that it just hasn't stopped for her. It just hasn't stopped.
Well, it did stop when she was when she was at that little country house, when she was like bored out of her mind.
Cotswold.
Yeah.
Her album that was not released in the US, Aura, celebrated its 4-year anniversary. So Congrats to Aura for being 4 years old.
But but it wasn't released in the US. Did we get to celebrate that holiday then? It's like us celebrating Boxing Day.
That's all Rita's up to. She's performing Nature is Healing, blah, 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 blah. We're done. Thank you for listening to another episode of Who Weekly. Call in at 619-WHO-THEM to leave questions, comments, and concerns for our weekly call-in show, Who's There, on Friday. Rate and reviews on Apple Podcasts. Support us on patreon.com/whoweekly for twice weekly bonus episodes.
And a commentary
Thanks for
this
listening.
week.
Wear a mask.
Next week.
Don't listen to Dennis Quaid. Don't listen to Dennis Quaid.
I'm not.
Okay?
Okay, bye.
You will dream it.
They want to know.
Hey. 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 I want to be famous.